What is up, YouTube? Herozin here, and in this video we are going to be going over Quetz and Ankylo metal farming, and in my opinion the best way to do that. Now, I don't see them changing metal farming using a platform, a Quetzal and an Ankylo changing in the foreseeable future the way it is with a Ankylo and having it on a Quetz with a platform structure, and then having the Ankylo's weight transfer over to the Quetz at a rate of 33% or around there. So I'm going to be going over the best method that I think is to put that to good use. So this is my new prized 5.0 145 difficulty tamed Quetzal, and it is replacing another weight Quetz that I had that died gloriously by being set on fire and shot off rockets by a possible Asian invasion that hit the server. One of many that have hit the server this past month. But this is my new beauty, and he sits around 4,042.3 weight. The one this replaces was only at 3,600, so it is an increase. You're going to need a few other Quetzals on top of your main weight Quetz. You should have your highest weight Quetz is the one that's going to be having the Ankylo ride on top of it. But daisy chained behind your main Quetzal, you should have roughly 4 to 5 Quetzals depending on how many you want and how much you want to carry. Now, these are also 5.0 difficulty tames. So this one was a 140, this was a 135, and this was a 145. Now, you don't need 130 pluses to do this effectively. This is actually one of my 4.0 difficulty tames, and it was one of the lower levels. I think it was a 26 to start, and it sits at 2200 weight. So you could definitely do this with lower level Quetzals if all you pump is weight. It's definitely still effective, but each of these sit around 3000 weight, just around that marker, so they could definitely hold quite a bit of metal. Now, this guy is actually going to be going over to Scorched Earth to replace a Quetz that I had on Scorched Earth that just up and vanished on me. I don't know where it went, but evidently maybe it went to Valhalla to join my other weight Quetz. I don't know, but it's gone. No death message. I'm just going to chalk it up as a loss. Kind of sucks that it just disappeared. You know, I would have liked it if it died in a glorious battle, but you know, ARK is what ARK is. And so this is my old Quetz, and this is my old platform. Now, I did build a new platform that I really like for the Quetzal that disappeared on Scorched, so I really don't have that to show off, but I'm going to be building that exact same platform I built on Scorched on my new prized Quetz. But this is my old platform, and I'm going to get into why I really don't like it. But first, I'm going to go over the stats of my 4.0 difficulty tamed Quetz. Now, this was a 116, and it was tamed before weight was actually transferred to the Quetz. So as you can see, the weight is not that good, but it has decent speed, which I only pumped to help get me around the map quicker so I could farm multiple mountains in a short period of time. And this worked very effectively when weight was a non-issue. So why I don't like the Quetz platform on this Quetzal itself, and it's pretty damaged because this was my backup Quetz when my other prize Quetz died, so I went to this, and it did take quite a beating from some rockets. But so the reason I don't like it is because the actual platform saddle is exposed, and so now this causes a array of issues with the Ankylo sitting on top of it. So the Ankylo gets pushed around or moved, or just for some reason doesn't like the spots in and moves on the platform structure that's built on the platform saddle and is sitting on either both or on this or on the platform saddle itself. It will cause a bit of an issue trying to move, lots of rubber banding. Sometimes the Quetz just refuses to move at all, or you just constantly rubber band back and forth. So this build actually was effective for its time, but it did have issues. Now you're saying, well, why did you put it underneath the platform? Well, the reason I did that is because the Ankylo throws you off to the right of the Ankylo. And so I didn't want to fiddle around with having to try to jump back on the Quetz and then jump back on the Ankylo to effectively solo form. So I wanted to put it underneath so I could just instantly press E and jump on the Quetz as soon as I dismantled from the Ankylo. And so while it was effective at that, it caused other issues which ended up being more of a pain in the long run. So we're going to go ahead and get started building on the new platform structure that I really like as far as farming with a Quetz and Ankylo go. So we're going to need our throwaway materials of stone foundations and stone pillar. Now you don't need to use stone, whatever's cheapest for you, whatever you feel like is not a huge loss. And we're also going to use some metal foundations to try to align this properly. Now this first foundation is the most important. What you're going to want to do is try to offset your first foundation as much to the left of the platform saddle as you can, while still being able to place another foundation to the left of your first foundation placed. And you also do not want it too close to the front. So you don't want to have the back of the platform saddle showing, as if you have your foundations too close to the front of the Quetzal, and that was a nice trick there, I was just levitating on its wing, it will actually stop the Quetz from moving, because in Wildcard's effort to try to patch exploits as far as building impenetrable cages around your Quetz so it can't be hurt or shot or used to drain turrets indefinitely, they have made it so if the head is blocked of the Quetzal, it will not move or it will rubber band, which is also an issue if there is something on the actual platform saddle itself. So you want the structure a little bit behind the Quetzal's head. So we're going to try to align it first, just to try to get it straight. Now again, if it's not perfect, you might just be better off having it like it is. Building on Quetzals can be very annoying, and getting perfect placement is a lot to ask for. It can be done if you want to spend the time on it, but I'm not really too concerned with looking pretty, although that is important, but I kind of want the efficiency. So I just want to generally align it so it kind of looks even, and then try to get it offset as much as possible to the left while still getting a snap point. So I'm just going to align this. That looks pretty decent. I'm going to go back a little bit more, and then a little bit more to the right. Now that should give me a snap point. So I'm going to wait until it evens out. I might just use the metal. Alright, that looks kind of wonky. And I don't think it's going to give me a snap point. No. Okay, so this might take a few tries to get cracked where you actually have a snap point. Alright, so let's try to align here. I'm just going to use the metal foundation. I'm not really too concerned with it. Alright. Okay. So now, do I have a snap point? And I do. Okay. So, I'm going to be placing a... Well, let's see how it looks really. How off am I? looks a little bit uneven. Let's see what I have here. Just a test. Yeah, it's a little crooked. How bad is it though? It's alright. I'm not too concerned with it. Okay, so I'm just going to blow these up. And now I'm going to lower the foundations. Throw this into here. Alright, so place a pillar. That's beautiful. Wait, did it? Yeah, okay. So lowered. So we're going to destroy the old snap points. And now we're just going to rinse and repeat that until we get the desired depth into the platform structure. Or the platform saddle, I should say, since we're building the structure. That does not look like... Okay, that dropped. Go ahead and destroy this. If that debris would get out of the way. Okay. Oh, this one is being a little bit of an issue. Oh, no, okay. So it lied to me. It was like, sure. Again, it lied to me. No, fine then. What if I do that? No. What if I do that? Yeah, okay, there we go. Now I'm getting overweight. Just gonna go ahead and throw all this junk into here. Probably just throw it on the floor. Alright. Now we probably are gonna go one more lower as far as the stone is concerned. That debris would get out of the way. Come on, debris. I could just move the Quetzal, but come on. Okay. Maybe one more lower. Let's see what one more looks like. But I think that might be it. One more is probably gonna go below. Yep, alright. And actually, that's what I want. Okay. But that's just for that one. Okay. So for that one, we're going to actually go below the platform saddle. But this one, we're going to extend out. Well, first let's get rid of this and pick up our new materials. So we need that. We'll get rid of this as well. And we'll get the door. We'll get that. We'll get that and that and that and the bed. And can we move? How encumbered am I? Okay, we can still move. Good enough. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to replace that, and then we're going to do this, and hopefully it's not going to be a pain and try to snap below. Okay, let's get rid of that extra weight. Okay, so we want this to actually snap above. We could do double, but I don't want to do that necessarily. Come on. Come on. It shut it for a second. Yeah, that's what I thought. What if I... Yeah. Okay. Can I destroy that one underneath? Because I do not want double. Yep. Okay, perfect. So how are we looking as far as... Actually, you know what? That might be pretty aligned. It is a little bit off, but I think I'm happy with it as is. Okay, and so now what we want to do is get our ceilings out, and we might as well put our window frame on there. We don't need the metal foundation anymore. We're going to need those walls. And so we want to extend out, and then we want to do that. And then we want to extend out one there, and then we want to go out, and then that. Okay, and now we're going to get our ramps. And build this. Hopefully this isn't a pain. It looks like it's trying to be. We got one. And this side. Nope, don't do that to me. Alright, okay. The hard part's over. Now these should just snap. Alright. And now we're going to add the window walls. Not that one. That was just yeah, testing purposes. A little bit of lag there. And we're not going to do double for all of it, just on the front and the corner. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to leave the back open. Now here, what we're going to do is add the actual wall, which will make sense in a second. And then we're going to add these to the top of it. And now we're going to add the ceilings back. We're going to add the door frame, and then we'll put the ceiling, put the door frame, put the door. And now we're going to get the bed. Now, two things with the bed and why we're putting a bed. It's pretty self-explanatory. The bed will actually give us a respawn point firstly. And secondly, if the Quetz does end up running away or flying off, or hopefully if it just despawns, we will know if it's gone or not. So the bed is to give you a spawn location on the Quetzal and to show you where the Quetz is at if it does end up going missing. Now, two things to know about the bed itself. Pretty self-explanatory. For the first one, it gets destroyed. Your Quetz, you don't know where it's at. And the second one, you will not be able to use the bed if it is next to an enemy structure. So if the bed gets destroyed, you know, doesn't work, self-explanatory. Next to a player or enemy structure, if they're non-allies, your bed will not function. But all in all, this is the completed platform. So fly around here, get a better look at it from above. And yeah, this is the beauty. This is pretty much is going to be my farming structure for all my future Quetzals, and if nothing changes on the foreseeable future, but as it stands, I don't see them changing how this works. And so now I'm going to finish her off by throwing on some beautiful colors. If I could find my spray paint guns and my paint. Throw that there. Alright, so guy looks snazzy, right? Gonna go ahead and paint the structure. Now you can actually get on top of here just by jumping up. Well, if it actually works. And there we go. So this can give you a little vantage point up here. And we're going to go ahead and paint the rest of this. You want the double walls so you don't get thrown off when you dismount the Ankylo. And we're going to go ahead and finish painting this. We should be able to paint from there. It's starting to get nighttime. I'm going to switch to my night vision when it gets a little bit more dark. Okay. Well, it looks like I missed a spot, and we're going to go ahead and switch to my other paint and finish it up. These paint guns are awesome. They use far less paint than regular paintbrushes, and they are just so easy to use. So if you want to do massive painting projects, I don't know, make a few of these. Actually, these are the 2 paint guns that I use to paint all of my bays. So it was not as hard as I thought it was going to be, and actually used far less resources than I first anticipated. Okay, so that should be everything. I'm sure I missed a spot, probably inside here that I didn't paint. And all of it. Actually, yeah, I missed more than that. All right. Okay. All right. And there we go. And then apply more color. Okay, go ahead and switch to my night vision since it's starting to get really dark and foggy. If I could find it, there we go. Okay. Change that. So this is going to be 4, 5, and 6, I think. And 3? Yes. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, that should be mostly everything. Enable 4, disable the rest of that. And then get that. Alright. Sure, there's other areas I need to get over, but that's good enough for this. Okay, so now we could get to the actual use of my platform. So I'm going to go ahead and move the Ankylo onto this. Actually, we're going to transfer some weight first. So I'm going to get my old farming platform. Going to transfer all of that. Now I'm going to move it closer and just do a transfer from one to the other. Just to have a little bit of lag spike going on. Or not. Okay, it just didn't want me to access the inventory. Okay, just throw that in there. Oh, that's another thing when you have the platform structure set up like this. When you try to open the inventory on the Quetzal, even though the platform saddle is exposed, it's not going to let you access the inventory from on top. Now, as you can see from my other platform here, it does let me access from the bottom, although for some reason, probably because... Can I access from this side? No, I don't know what's wrong with this right now, but for some reason it's not letting me access at all unless I'm riding. But that's not really an issue. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish transferring all this. I suppose I could just throw it all, this stone and wood away, so that's not really a thing. But you know what? Don't waste resources when you're inside your base. If you're not close to your base, understandable, but if you have something stored in, might as well. Alright, so now I'm going to move my Ankylo onto the Quetz, and then I'm going to go farm the volcano real quick. This is my good Ankylo. They're both relatively the same, but this one has just a little bit more melee. Alright, and then we're going to put this bad boy there. That's probably the female, isn't it? Nope, that was the boy. Okay. You would think I would know which Ankylo is my best, but try to squeeze this thing on by. And so I do have double Ankylo for the mate boost, which is pretty decent. Try not to knock them off. Okay, that didn't quite work, and kind of knocked them off. Come on, you could do it. You could turn. All right, and so we'll head up to the top now. And so from here, all my Quetzal have already been daisy chained on follow. Now, if you do have other platform there's not technically anything built on my other platform Quetz, but if you do have another platform, you're going to want that to be at the end, because another Quetz Alpha platform on it will in fact knock the dinos you have on your original Quetz platform off of it. So if you have another platform structure, you just want to put that thing on the end of your Quetz train. And so this is what you should have following behind you. A beautiful train of Quetzes heading up to whatever mountain you're trying to farm. And you should have your Ankylo all set and ready. And I did not paint that structure on the top, but you know what? It's okay. I might just leave it like that. And so yeah, this is how I have been farming most of my metal now. With my other Quetz that's now in Valhalla, but this is how I'm going to be farming with this Quetz. Now, okay, so the game lagged for whatever reason. ARK lagged. But you're going to need a whip to actually get it out of this situation. So what you want to do is whip your dino, jump on, and then fly. And that should release you from the death hold that happens when you have other dinos following you. Now, that doesn't just happen with Quetzals. It also happens with land dinos and all sorts of dinos. You get all bunched together and it becomes a real pain to try to get yourself unstuck. Unless you have a whip, then it becomes pretty easy. So you just want to land, turn your dino off follow, and pull out your spyglass, because spyglass for good luck. And then we'll go over to the lead and we'll try to organize these guys. If it wants to not get me stuck between all of them. Down! Alright, try to jump back on the lead again. Okay. Alright, much better. Alright, and they did, in fact, fix being able to block drops, but if you use a vault, it still keeps the drop from landing on the ground, and it actually does disable a person's ability to get the drop unless they have a fly mount. So while blocking drops has technically been fixed, you could still in fact make it harder to get the drop. But back to farming, what you want to do is pretty much just land them all in a line similar to this and turn them off follow for reasons I will go over once I have a full Ankylo. So I'm just going to turn all these guys off follow, reorganize my Ankylo a bit, try to center this thing. Now the reason we wanted this platform structure as far left as possible is to avoid any collisions with the platform saddle itself. Now we're going to move this one a little bit more back so it doesn't bump the Ankylo in front of it. Your Ankylo will move. There is a slight issue where jumping off of a dino will cause it to stutter forward a little bit or to a certain direction, but not much you could really do about it. And so when it throws us, the goal is to land on the part where we have the foundation lowered into the ground. So we're going to go ahead and farm this, and then we should land there if it gives me a good throw. Alright. And then we'll just fail at hitting that. For some reason it's giving me a bad throw, but it is what it is. There was a point in ARK where every time you got thrown, it would actually throw you a good distance, but for some reason sometimes it just barely throws you off the mounted dino, and other times it sends you pretty far. And when you're jumping off the Ankylo onto the Quetz, I would suggest having something out. I have my whip out now, but if you don't and you just have your fist out, you can get stuck in a infinite punching loop where your character just non-stop punches until you either hit your mouse button or you hit Alt to melee. And as you can see, this is pretty much just how I do it. And the more weight on your Quetz, the easier it is to accomplish. And so, we'll see how much weight I have here. If it wants to let me on my Ankylo. Didn't really align that right. The night vision is nice, but it's still not as good as it could be. Hopefully Tech Tier has better abilities to see at night. Now, to properly get yourself thrown onto the saddle, you're going to have to angle your Ankylo a little bit to the right. I'll try to move it with the whip. Actually, you know what? I'll fill it up and then transfer the metal and then I'll move it. And it looks like my Ankylo just got a level up. And it should level... what leveled up? Something leveled up. There it is. It took its time. And of course, melee. Alright. Might as well go back for those two. Don't want to skip any nodes now. And that should be enough. Okay, so to transfer metal from one Quetzal to another, what I do is usually land the platform Quetz itself and then jump on the Quetzal at the end of the line and then just fly on top of the Ankylo. And once I get to the ground, I just might as well turn off cap lock and drop all the stone. You could do that before transferring and then get vast amounts of metal and then go back, but that should do it. Okay, so we're going to take about 3 stacks and then we'll just transfer like this. This makes transferring metal from the Ankylo to your backup Quetzals really easily. And then from there, that's pretty much what you do. How does it look? I just threw my helmet inside my Quetz. Alright. Looks like it might be coming day. Yep, it's starting to become day, so that's good. And then we just load the Quetz up. That might be, yep, that's too much weight. Okay. I done goofed. Alright, so now we need to free up space from the Quetzal. Alright. Okay, that should do it. Yeah. Well, looks like you have, well, let's not super encumber these. And so from there, you just pretty much put them back in some sort of formation. And then from here, jump on that one again. And go ahead and unload. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to transfer. And that is actually too much metal for that one. So we'll grab the next in line. Put that metal into this. And there we go. Transfer some out. Alright, that one can move. So we'll land that there. And then jump on this. Now this is not as effective as the old days, but it's still quite as effective, especially if you have a large main weight Quetz. You could still farm very easily. So to get a proper throw where you're not going to get thrown off the saddle like I was earlier, you're going to want to angle it like this. That way it just constantly throws you right here to this empty spot. And you can just immediately jump on your saddle. And try to angle this thing up. Like you see there, there's a little bit of a lag issue, it looks like. I don't know what that's about. And then we'll just go ahead and take this out. So pretty much this is it. It is technically times 1.5 event. So these rates are a little bit higher than standard times 2, or actually I'm just going to refer to it as times 2. It's not times 1, so official servers are no longer times 1, they're all officially times 2 the resource. And it is a evolution weekend, so that's times 1.1 times 1.2. So, and this is it. So with this method, you should be able to get as much metal as your heart's desire. Should be able to farm until you can farm no more. Your Ankylo's tail should be bleeding from all the metal. And all I can say is thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. And there might be some bonus PvP at the end of this video. So there is that. And so I decided not to end the video there. JK, just kidding. And so this is what is left of the bowl of the volcano. I wasn't able to farm everything with just the Quetz I brought with me. I do have 2 other Quetzals I could have brought with me, which would have allowed me to farm the whole thing completely at times 1.5 evolution event. So all my 4 Quetzals are completely completely full, and my main Quetz, which is holding the Ankylo, also has a lot of metal. Wait, what is this madness? Can't have this. Alright, so yeah, extra weight there I didn't need. But yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and fly around, and so we're gonna head back to my base. But this was pretty successful, especially considering going from no weight penalties to this. Not so bad. And we're gonna go ahead and go back to my base slowly and I'll show you how I unload metal pretty effectively from my Ankylo and other Quetzal. Pretty easy. I'm sure there are other ways to do it. Well, of course there are other ways to do it, but I'll show you the particular way that I do it. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and get some cinematic shots of my Quetzal behaving very, very pleasantly, following me. The weight is distributed pretty evenly among them, so one of them is not particularly more heavy than the others. Although I am holding far more weight on this Quetz and seem to be moving faster than them. I do have their follow distance on medium just to not have any annoying movement issues from them being on low or lowest. Being on high will cause breaks in the line, so they won't be as falling as closely as they would, and so you might actually lose the one that's all the way at the end, since they won't be moving in unison but stop and going. And we are now heading into Lag City, or the vicinity of my base. And I'm going to go ahead and let them catch up a little bit and let my base load in. And we're going to land in the east side of my front area. And then we're just going to come straight down and plop her down right where we started. And then I'll just turn my first Quetz off follow and open a window, probably. Not too sure. Yep, definitely a window. Okay. And so this is what I do to unload my Quetzal. So I just chain my way up to them, up to the last one, turn it off follow, jump on it, and then I pretty much unload this way. And we'll go over to my forges, or at least 3 of my forges, and start unloading. And then from here, pretty easy, although that's my forge with all the cooked metal. So we just take this, move it over here, and just like that. Pretty simple. Large amounts of metal. Time not too long depending on where you're farming. Volcano, I want to say that took me roughly 30 minutes to farm the whole thing, probably a little less. If you're going to be farming the other mountains, they are going to take you a little bit longer, but not too much longer. And so once this one has been freed of its burden, its terrible, terrible burden, go ahead and get rid of any obsidian, put that where it belongs. Then we go to the next one, and then I just do that until I get to the last one. And then once I am on the last one, I use that to unload the Ankylo a few thousand pounds at a time. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. And I've decided not to add the PvP video or the bonus PvP to the end of this video. I'm actually going to make a separate video, and if I remember to turn that guy off follow. Now come back to me. I am your father. Not really. I'm just the guy that knocked you out, fed you, and is claiming that you belong to me now. The laws of this world demand that I do such. Okay, and so yeah, I've decided to make the PvP video a separate video entirely. I'm going to add all of the recent month of PvP that we've been having, the vast amounts of Asian invasions. Wasn't all the same people. I want to say it was the same people twice, and then 2 other times 2 different tribes. 2 of them were Huya streamers, so there was that whole debacle of them bringing their own plethora of followers with them, so that was interesting. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.